Hello, hello, sweet honeybees. Welcome to the Electric Honey Pot, where energy is the nectar of life. My name is Autumn, and I want to just jump right into today's episode. I honestly struggled to figure out what I would write about for this episode. There are so many things happening that I want to talk about. Speaking out often feels like screaming into the void, but I know it's the right thing to do. I am done being quiet to keep the peace and to appease the masters. Where do I even start when my concerns seem to be endless? I recently had a dream that inspired me to write this piece. I hope my message is clear enough to get through to the collective because it's important. I dreamed I was working at a plantation. I was being compensated with money, but the amount was like scraping a few scraps off of your plate for an anxious dog. I was the obedient, trusting dog waiting for my handler to finish eating, hoping that they would be kind enough to give me a taste of something other than burnt kibble. It was mere pennies compared to what the plantation owners were bringing in, thanks to my time, energy, and labor. The headmasters did nothing but make the rules, give the orders, and oversee our obedience, but they reaped all of the benefits of our production. It felt unfair, but I couldn't be a slave if I am being given something the masters tell me is valuable, right? So I just accepted things the way they were. With time, the rules got stricter. The labor grew more time and energy consuming. I started doing the work of multiple people. The masters praised my work ethic and told me how good I was at my job as the profits poured in like a waterfall. They filled a pool surrounded by signs reading, "Masters only." After a long, hard day at work, we couldn't even join them in the relaxing water that we had filled. We just went home to our dwellings to find other ways to not think about our realities. We altered our minds, got lost in games. We lived vicariously through fictitious characters on a screen whose lives felt more alive and real than our own. My coworkers and I grew tired, but at least we still had each other. We met up in our free time to talk amongst ourselves. We complained to each other, something we dared not do to the masters on our own. Some work departments stood together and were successful unionizing for better working conditions, but it was just a Band-Aid on a gaping wound that needed serious medical intervention to heal properly. We were in pain, but the unknown kept us living in fear. How would we pay for our homes, our food? How would the headmasters respond if we confronted them? At least the life we knew was predictable, even if it didn't feel like much of a life at all. We pretended our feelings didn't exist and became cold machines rather than human beings. The headmasters knew we were connecting and sharing ideas in private. They told us they wanted to help us connect with one another on a greater level. Their new social platforms online would help us meet and talk to workers from plantations beyond the ones we worked at. Before we knew it, we stopped meeting face to face for the convenience of our online communities. We could experience anything with just a few quick taps and a search bar. There wasn't a need to see anything with our own eyes, to hear anything with our own ears, or to experience life and the world for ourselves. Work didn't give us time to think freely or pay attention to the world moving around us. Our homes became caves where we believed the images moving across our screens showed us everything we needed to know about the world and the people within it. We didn't know the masters were watching our every move and controlling what we consumed. When someone suggested it, we accused them of turning against the ones kind enough to give us this technology. They protected us from harm. They gave us the freedom to decide how we spent our own money after we paid them for our food, water, clothing, housing, and healthcare, of course. They cared about us. They celebrated us with holidays. They wouldn't lie to us, would they? The masters were divided into groups, just as we were under them. We were told this would be more effective and prevent any one master from taking over the entire plantation. It would keep things fair. Soon, our plantation seemed more like a competitive sport than a collective effort to support everyone working and living within its walls. The masters told us how our coworkers did less than us. Our coworkers were the reason we had to work so hard and had next to nothing to show for it. They took advantage of the offerings our kind masters gave to residents that were struggling to buy food. We grew angry at how selfish the other departments were. They were what's wrong with our plantation. They were the reason we were all suffering. Our masters needed to deal with them. Our working classes clashed, while the masters cheered us on with speeches for our dedication to the plantation. The masters changed the rules of the games we were playing to help us in our fight against each other. Each new rule made the teams more desperate to win at all costs. We didn't notice that the only ones winning were the masters that controlled it all. The masters that controlled our bodies and our minds without us even realizing it. One day, I couldn't handle the stress anymore. I decided to quit. Some of my coworkers supported me in their words, but they stayed in the game, playing by the master's rules, too afraid to take a risk for something greater. I don't have a choice, they told me in defeat. I made the choice. Why couldn't they? Other coworkers told me I was lazy. They told me I just didn't want to work, not understanding how tired I had become from how hard I had worked for so long. They told me I was a freeloader, not knowing that I gave away parts of my rations even while I had very little for myself. They told me I hated the plantation and its people when I had given my entire life to supporting it. I couldn't even support myself with what little it had given me in return. I was a worker just like them, but I felt like an outsider. I was an alien in a place I did not belong, even though the plantation was my home too. They didn't want me because I dared to choose for myself. I was replaceable, even to the workers just like me. Did I ever matter? Or was the only thing that mattered my job and productivity? Was I a human being, or was I cattle born to plow the fields under a scorching sun day after day? I stood alone as the masters came to take me away. My faith in something greater than myself kept me on my feet as I stared, fear dead in the eyes. I was hated by half of the working class, ignored by the other. They had more in common than they knew. Neither questioned the systems that held us all in place. One supported comply or die. The other denied that silence is compliance. Both of them helped the system. I disappeared as if I never existed at all. Nothing inside the plantation changed. Life inside remained meaningless, but at least mine ended with the meaning I gave it. For the first time since I was born, I knew what it meant to be free. I woke up from this dream hearing, radicalizing humanity into loving their captors. What we have been living through is no different than modern-day slavery as we hand over our personal freedoms through believing those at the top truly have our best interest at heart. We work nonstop to barely be able to afford the most basic needs of survival, like our food, water, clothing, shelter, and healthcare. All things that those on top control and profit off of. We hand what little compensation they give us right back to them and then call it freedom. We're too busy being productive for the benefit of a few that we don't have time to slow down and think about why this is the way things are. We're too distracted by what's on a screen to step out of our caves and see the true world around us. We believe other human beings are monsters that we don't want to be around or that deserve less than us because they aren't one of us. They're just like us, though. The only ones that aren't like us are the puppet masters pulling the strings and spending their oceans of cash to keep up elaborate illusions. We speak of laws as if they are based on morals when they are tools of population control. We support abuse of power to maintain them as if two wrongs will take us to the right place. It won't. We just get even more disoriented and lost further while they lead us in circles. We sell our freedoms to the system in exchange for a false sense of security, not understanding what we are really buying is a prison. Mass surveillance, profiling, stricter control. They know more about us than we know about ourselves at this point. We talk a lot about country sovereignty, but what about individual sovereignty? Borders are drawn through blood of people, just like us following the commands of the few. Are you truly free while living within walls that have authorities telling you how you should think, feel, and live your life just to protect those walls? I am not saying that there should not be some form of order, because without order, there is chaos. What I am saying is that authority has to be kept in check. The rights of a country and its government should not come before the rights of human beings. Human beings cannot be illegal on planet Earth. That is just some made-up rule by men that want power over others. Fear, hatred, and division are used as tools to prevent us from becoming empowered through authentic human connection and trusting each other. They are distractions from what is truly going on. When you finally see it, everyone hates you for not picking a side in a war where no one wins. I am exhausted. My soul hurts for humanity and our poor planet. I just want to be free and happy. I want to see beautiful places, learn about different cultures, and hear stories from the people of the world. I want to write, photograph, and video a life being well lived to inspire others in the short time that I have, rather than slaving away in a cage like a hamster on a wheel. Sometimes my mind tells me it will never happen or that it is impossible. I don't have resources. My platform is small. Not many people watch my videos or listen to what I have to say. I am a nobody, just a social security number in a system. And it'll always be that way because I'm standing alone. I have to actively combat that little devil in my ear telling me to give up on myself and humanity. It is not easy loving myself and trusting myself when the world around me wants me to doubt what I know. My heart knows anything is possible when you believe in yourself and learn to shine like the star you are at your core. If it can be dreamed, it can be a reality. The reality we live in is a nightmare for everyday people like you and me, but it is someone's dream, or else it would not exist. Don't you want to build your own dreams instead of someone else's? Not everyone has your best interest at heart, especially those that tell you to be afraid of the world and her people. You have to learn how to listen to yourself. I am not giving up on my dreams, no matter how far out into space they may seem to some people. Giving up is when hope is lost. That is what this system is designed to do to us. It breaks us down until we are barely living shells, having forgotten just how much potential we all knew we had when we were children, before all of the trauma and programming took over our lives. Without hope, what is the point in trying? You just settle and tell the world, this is just the way things are. There's nothing we can do to change it. For some, this means life isn't even worth living. I'm writing this and sharing my voice, my mind, and my soul with you because this is the way I know I can help to change it. We are stronger in numbers, just like bees in a hive. How can you help to change the world? It starts with changing yourself. Let's work together to make this world a place worth living in for all beings, not just for the benefit of a few. Thank you so much for listening to what I have to say, what I've written. This has been Right from the Soul with Electric Honey Pot Project. If this resonated with you at all, please consider liking this video, dropping a comment down below, letting me know how you have been thinking and feeling as everything has been unfolding within the world, within the United States. If you would like to see more content just like this one, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. I would really love it if you would join the hive, join the collective in our fight for truth, liberty, and justice for all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, week, month, year, and life. Remember to stay curious and question everything.